Sebastian Rauer. I'm from Berlin. I work as a research associate at the Technology Foundation in Berlin. And as I already mentioned, today I am not really concerned about privacy and how my data can be a private thing. I just want to talk about what we're doing in the ideation and prototyping lab at the Technology Foundation. The name of the presentation is Sense Everything. It's because what we try to achieve is we look out for new ways to sense the environment with sensors and new platforms. And there's one platform we are researching on right now. It's called the Lola Technology. Does someone of you know what the Lola Technology is? Yes, there is another one. Okay, for those of you who doesn't know the Lola Technology, it's basically a pretty old radio communication thing. I don't want to get so much into details, but there are two important things to know about the Lola. It's first, it's a low power technology. This means that you can set up a sensor somewhere in the world and it doesn't need very much power, so it can run and run and run and run. And the other thing is that it has a wide range, so it can transmit data via radio communication to a gateway, I don't know, maybe 10 to 20 kilometers, even through thick concrete walls. So if you have the sensor right here, you can send data via radio signal to a gateway that is maybe, I don't know, on a hotel roof in downtown maybe. So that's the two main important things to know about the Lola technology. And that's the first prototype we built at the Technology Foundation in Berlin. Here you can see the Lola technology we use is based on the Arduino platform. We used proximity sensor just to sense something, because we wanted to look into what's possible with the Lola technology. So I took this whole thing for a walk. That's also a great thing to do with the Lola. You can take it wherever you want and measure things, whatever you want to measure. Here you can see the antenna. It's, as I already mentioned, it's a radio communication, and you can send small chunks of data via radio signal. Here on top of that, it's very loose and it's prototype. You have the power source, which is a 9-volt battery. And yeah, that actually works. I walked through Berlin and had, I don't know, 5 or 6 kilometers to walk, and the radio signal never broke. It was never corrupted. So that was great. It worked. So we asked, we have this technology to sense, to put sensors everywhere we want without an internet connection. So we have these nodes, we call them nodes, and we can put sensors that measure, I don't know, the main thing, temperature or humidity or proximity or whatever, or heat. And the node is sending the data to a gateway, and only the gateway needs an internet connection. So you're perfectly mobile with the node. And we asked, what can we actually do with this kind of technology? Because it's nice to have, but if we don't have any problems to solve with that, so why should we need that? And if we have, some of you may know the Explain It Like I'm 5 subreddit on Reddit, and it sometimes helps to just transform a question you have for people into a more easy question, so that everyone can understand and everyone can participate and can maybe even answer that question. So this is the first thing we do. We try to formulate the question as easy as possible. And what we then do is we invite everyone who wants to take part of this whole technology or has a question or maybe has ideas, we invite them and making workshops with them. So there many people are from, of course, from universities, students. We have also seniors that are interested in radio communication, and we also have CEOs of certain companies, and they're all interested in the technology and of course have ideas, and we gather them and try to put the ideas as simple as that on a paper. And the paper, we put the paper on the wall, and then we did a simple voting system. So we have some sort of a ranking. We want to know what idea or problem is the most important to solve with this kind of technology. So we just put some stickers on the idea, and then we have somehow a picture of what we want to do next. That's very helpful, and it makes a workshop really useful, of course. So we have found problems or we have ideas, and it's very important to segment everything. So we fully understand what we try to achieve and what we have to deal with. And so we segment everything in micro-interaction. We call it micro-interactions. So we know exactly what to do with every micro-interaction, and then at the end we put it together. And of course, as I already mentioned, we try to invite everyone. We don't want to include people because they might be afraid of the technology, or we try to pick them up somewhere where mentally pick them up. We describe the technology, and we try to have as many, as diverse group of people as possible.
You have some problem with the screen here. So
it's okay.
Okay. Of course, the purpose of such workshops is to gain insights and solving problems and achieve and gain as much information as possible. So, and a workshop only makes sense to have to gather people and making a follow-up. For the Technology Foundation in Berlin, we actually made a once in a month workshop. So we have some sort of a community that we gather once a month, and then we can work on ideas and develop them to the next stage. So that's that. And another thing is that we had a cooperation with the Beuth Hochschule für Technik in Berlin. And what they did was they thought about the whole development process for the Lola technology. So what they made is they had water quality sensors, and they put it right at the center of Berlin in the River Spree. And they wanted to measure the water quality, because at this very place here, the government actually wants to have some segment of the river to swim in it. So it needs to somehow, as clean as possible, to make it possible to swim in it. And the students thought about that it might be helpful to have sensors in it to measure the quality and have a steady data stream via radio-controlled network from a node, which is inside the water, that is transmitting data to the gateway, and we have a steady data live stream of the water quality of the River Spree. That's a real-world application. It actually works. They demonstrated it at our office, and here you can see the box. That's the gateway, and here is the node. And it's maybe 50-60 euro for everything, and you have a measurement system that works with live data. And it was an important requirement from our side to have a database that we later can use for an API, because we want to make the data open, available for everyone to see. And of course, we can provide an API for developers or designers, or we can make, which is a plan for the next month, we can develop a dashboard-like thing where we can see maybe how the data quality. That's only a rough prototype of the design from the dashboard. It's more like we want to achieve that we not only have an API, but also have an interface where everyone who can use an API maybe just see how the water quality at the River Spree is. So, and I hope I didn't exceed the time.
A few seconds.
Okay, you can reach me at this mail. I hope you can read them. And I will be here today and the next day and the third day, and open for questions. And yeah, thanks.